The movie opens with Gru making his way to the Villain Academy's alumni reunion. At the parking lot, his 3 private minions join him and suit up for their mission, which is to catch an old fellow, Maxime Lamel. At the reunion, the minions spot Jello and become distracted. Meanwhile, Gru overhears Maxime talking about himself, so he approaches him, only to be belittled by him. He introduces Gru to his girlfriend, Valentina, who leaves without greeting. Maxime makes fun of Gru's decline in his villain arc and goes to receive the Golden Alumni Award. That's when he reveals his intentions of becoming an indestructible villain by harnessing the power of cockroaches. He also takes off his heavy jacket to reveal that he's turned himself into a cockroach. Gru shows his detective badge along with his true intentions of capturing him on behalf of the anti-villain league called the AVL. When Gru's weapons don't work against him, a number of detectives break through the glass roof and tackle Maxime. Gru uses his net gun to trap Maxime. When the detectives are taking him away, Gru and his minions laugh at him, so Maxime frees himself and comes at Gru aggressively and threatens him. The detectives tase him and take him back to jail. Gru returns home to his girls and wife, Lucy, who's carrying his newborn, who doesn't like Gru much. While trying to feed the baby, things get messy, so Gru calls his personal minions, who come with their gear and clean up the baby and wipe Gru's face. Simultaneously, Ramsbottom from AVL shows up at their door to show them Maxime's jail footage, in which he's threatening Gru for his life. Gru is convinced that Maxime is under maximum security, so he feels safe, but Ramsbottom reveals that Maxime has already broken out of the facility yesterday. Feeling threatened, Gru prepares the girls and leaves to take shelter in a safe house. Little Agnes gives away her baby goat, Lucky, to the agents. While they're on their way, the girls make sure that Ramsbottom is taking care of the rest of the minions. He assures them that he's shifting them to the AVL headquarters. Simultaneously, a bus loaded with minions having the time of their lives headed towards the headquarters. Much to the family's disappointment, they get the tiniest house in the lavish suburbs. While Agnes and the 3 minions get excited over the candy vending machine, Ramsbottom gives Gru new identities for his entire family to cover up. Gru is a salesman, and Lucy is a hairdresser. When Ramsbottom leaves, Lucy makes Gru feel positive about it since they will get to spend family time after all. On the other hand, an army of roaches and Valentina are seen welcoming Maxime back into his secret lair. There, he unveils his evil plan about stealing Gru's baby, after the humiliation he's caused Maxime at the alumni. The next morning, Gru has a hard time convincing Agnes to use her cover-up name, but she thinks it's equivalent to lying, so she doesn't. Lucy takes Agnes and Edith with her, leaving Gru to drop Margot off at school on her first day. Gru gets his minion to fix the baby's car seat in the back of his car. Before leaving, he forcefully tries to start a conversation with his next-door neighbor, Prescott, a rich car dealer, but he doesn't seem interested. Gru sees his daughter, Poppy, and tries to get her to be friends with Margot, but she doesn't even acknowledge them and leaves with her father for school. While dropping off Margot, Gru spots Poppy and says hello, but she gives him a dubious smirk and leaves. The parents behind Gru become grumpy and tell him to leave the spot. Back in the AVL headquarters, Ramsbottom selects 5 volunteer minions to test his super serum, which will either give them super abilities or they will explode. Luckily, the minions come out with different superpowers. They're called the Mega Minions. Lucy drops Edith and Agnes at a kung fu practice center, where the phony sensei acts tough on little girls and makes Agnes sit in the corner of shame for not telling her name since she refuses to lie. Edith takes revenge by stomping on his foot and getting attention from the entire class. On Lucy's side, she is praised by her manager on her first day and is given a highly demanding client to work with. But unaware of the field, Lucy puts acid on the lady's scalp, which starts boiling and losing the hair strands. Lucy throws away a strand, causing power surges in the saloon, so she runs away from there. Subsequently, Maxime introduces his new ship, shaped like a cockroach, and makes his first public appearance in it. Gru decides to have some time to himself while waiting for Margot outside her school, but the baby keeps messing with him, resulting in Gru spilling his coffee over his head and the entire banana smearing on his nose. Margot enters the car, covered in glitter, and expresses hate for the new students. The following night, Gru goes to throw the trash and ends up crossing paths with Poppy, who has a villainous smile. She blows Gru's cover and blackmails him to pull a heist for her in exchange for not exposing his true identity. Meanwhile, the Mega Minions make their heroic entrance and get praised by the regular ones. Ramsbottom shows up and assigns them a mission. The next morning, Gru tries to hack into the Prescott circle again. Strangely, the wife, Patsy Prescott, shows extra interest and invites Gru and Lucy to a tennis match. Lucy leaves for work and gives the baby to Gru. Little Poppy throws an origami ninja star at Gru from her room window and signals for a meetup at the treehouse, so he agrees in order to keep his cover safe. On Maxime's end, he recalls an old talent show in which Gru stole his talent and performed it before him. Maxime runs low on fuel, so he lands near a petrol station. When he tries to pay with his card, the machine declines it. He finds it intolerable, so he punishes the shopkeeper by turning him into a roach with his gun. Meanwhile, Lucy takes the girl grocery shopping, where she encounters the woman whose scalp she had burned. She chases Lucy for revenge, but she bamboozles her and flees with the girls. Back in the house, Poppy puts on her villain suit and tells Gru to enter the treehouse using a trampoline and some aerobics. When Gru makes it in, she reminds him of his old heists and demands that he steal Lenny, the honey badger mascot, from Gru's old school. Despite finding them dangerous, he gets on the hot balloon with Poppy and his baby and flies his way towards the heist. Meanwhile, the Mega Minions are released into the public to fight crime, but they indulge in their own silly activities and fail the mission. They do a proud walk in the end while the people shout at them and discourage them. Ramsbottom shows up in his van and takes the minions away. Gru and Poppy reach the school building, where Poppy is disappointed to see her infiltration gear switched with baby Gru's diaper bag. One of the minions also flees with the air balloon. Now, Gru and Poppy use a safety pin and a pacifier to cut a hole in the glass to infiltrate the building. They throw a diaper on the security cameras to trick the guards and use a hairpin to unlock the headmistress's room. Gru uses baby powder to show Poppy the strict laser alarms, which are impossible to cross, but baby Gru easily passes through them and turns them off. Inside the office, Gru finally finds the switch to lower the honey badger's cage. He tries to sedate the sleeping honey badger to avoid drama, but things go south when baby Gru opens the cage before Gru sedates it. The honey badger rains chaos, resulting in Gru giving the sedative to himself and numbing his leg, and Poppy mistakenly tripping over and pressing the emergency alarm, hearing which the headmistress shows up in her modified wheelchair. Baby Gru calms the honey badger using the candy he hates. Now, Gru uses one of the minions as a bicycle and runs away since he's sedated and can't walk by himself. During the chase, Poppy falls off the building, but Gru extends a hand and saves her. They then splash another baby product at the headmistress' face and flee using the school's carriage by activating its airplane mode. After a successful escape, Poppy thanks Gru and gets on good terms with him, not knowing the headmistress has given their coordinates to Maxime out of anger and revenge. The next day, Gru and Lucy leave the kids behind with Poppy and go to the tennis match that Patsy had invited them to. While they have their shenanigans there, the headmistress shows up at Gru's house. Poppy takes her honey badger to safety. Margot opens the door and tells her Gru's not home upon being asked about him. She immediately messages Gru about the headmistress, so he and Lucy come home rushing and contact Ramsbottom for help. Ramsbottom contacts the Mega Minions, who have pursued different professions in different countries, and asks them to assemble for their mission. Gru and Lucy arrive to deal with the headmistress. Meanwhile, Maxime gets his hands on the baby and vanishes. After defeating the evil headmistress, Gru realizes the baby is missing. He goes outside and finds Maxime about to run away with his baby, while declaring himself as the baby's new father. Gru tries running after him, but it doesn't help. That's when Poppy shows up with a ride and helps Gru get on the ship. Baby Gru pulls Maxime's antenna and pees on his controlling board, while Maxime is trying to cope with him. When Gru finally causes the ship to crash, he discovers that his baby has been turned into a roach and is under Maxime's command. Maxime asks Valentina to mash the baby under the ship, but fortunately the ship gets sucked into the ground. Gru fights Maxime on the bridge and convinces his baby to take his side. The baby agrees and helps Gru fight Maxime. Simultaneously, the minions' entire army riding bulls shows up to beat Maxime up for good. In the family's reunion, the baby finally makes peace with his father and says his first word, Dad. They return home and get Dr. Nefario's help to turn the baby back into a human. Gru also brings Lucky, the goat, back to surprise Agnes. He then visits Maxime in jail, now turned back into a human, and admits to stealing his talent show performance. Maxime demands an apology, but Gru once again recreates the talent show and does a face-off with him. The movie ends with a mega reunion, in which we see Gru's mother, his twin brother, and many other characters from the previous parts. I am sure you liked the story recap. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps like that. Thanks.